Welcome everyone to the Adelaide Cottage podcast. My name is Shawna and I'm your host. I'm coming to you from a suburb of Buffalo, New York, where it's cold and snowy. And here I talk about knitting, sewing, quilting, general crafts like embroidery, yarn dyeing, and now I just tried spinning yarn with a drop spindle last night, so I'll show you how that turned out. Welcome to new and returning viewers. Thank you so much for checking out my podcast. If you like it, be sure to subscribe on YouTube so that you can see when new episodes are updated. I am on Instagram and Ravelry as Adelaide Cottage, and there's a group on Ravelry as well where you can join to do knit-alongs and enter giveaways, and I also have my show notes there as well. So I've broken my podcast down into segments now to keep it a little bit more organized. So first, I'm going to dive into knitting. I have one finished object and 3 works in progress, and then I'll get into my spinning adventure with my drop spindle, then some quilting, sewing, and then I'll talk a little bit about new and noteworthy items, which are acquisitions, whether they be new yarns that I get or new fabric, supplies, books, anything like that that I feel you might want to see. And then lastly, at the very end, I'll talk about my Etsy shop update. I do have an Etsy shop called Adelaide Cottage where I sell handmade project bags, DPN holders, stitch markers, and everything like that. So at the end I'll show you any new items that will be going into the shop soon. So again, welcome, and freshly brewed today I have my Tim Hortons coffee in a handmade coffee mug from Etsy. It was gifted to me from a friend on Instagram. We entered the Cup of Kim mug swap in 2015, and it was to benefit or to raise money for a family who wanted to adopt a child. So everyone that wanted to enter the mug swap paid, I think it was just $1 to Cup of Kim, and she kept it organized. And then you were assigned a mug swap partner, and you bought a mug with a few other little goodies and sent it off to your partner, and then somebody would send one to you, and then all of the monies they collected went to this family so that they can adopt a child, and they raised enough and were able to do it, so it's awesome. I think that she does it every year in August. I think it's August 1st or September 1st, if I'm not mistaken, but follow Cup of Kim on Instagram. It's CUPPAKIM, and she'll have notifications up. But anyways, my mug swap partner sent me this awesome handmade coffee mug. So yummy. So go and grab something warm to drink with me, whether it be tea or coffee. Grab a blanket if it's cold where you live, and let's chat knitting. So like I said, I have one finished object, and that object is the sock head hat that I knit for my oldest son. He wanted a slouchier hat with a pom-pom, and this is how it turned out. It is my hand-dyed yarn in the campside colorway. It's very slouchy, and like I said, I added the pom-pom for him. I did a 4-inch ribbing, which I think is too long for him. He has to keep rolling it up because it slides down. This fabric is really drapey. It's a 50% silk, 50% non-superwash merino, so it's shiny and really drapey. But I made this too big for him. The ribbing's big, and the body's a little bit too long. at the end, where you start the decreases, you're supposed to do a decrease, knit 2 rows, do a decrease, knit 2 rows. But I did a decrease, knit 1 row, decrease, knit 1 row until the end. So it was kind of a more rapid decrease. And it's still too big. The body is too long. But it works for him if he rolls the ribbing up pretty high. He'll grow into it. So that's my finished object. I'm happy with it. It took me about 10 days because I was kind of knitting on it vigorously because it's so cold out, and the hat that I made him before is too small on him, so I really had to get that done for him. Yeah, so that's my finished object. So I have 3 works in progress. The first one is my sugar plum cowl. And I knit a bit on it since I chatted with you last. This is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. I have to remember the name of the designer. Kalura Hudson. Summer in Province cowl. The colorway is called Sugar Plum. I'm sorry. But that's what it looks like for those of you who haven't tuned in before. You get the hat and the cowl pattern in your purchase. But I'm only knitting the cowl, and I think that I will only knit the cowl. I'm not going to knit the hat. There's some cabling in it, and it's like 1x1 cabling, and I find it very tedious. I mentioned this last week. I find it tedious to put one stitch on a cable needle for a left slanting cable and then do one on the right, just one stitch. It was just fiddly for me, so I like the way it's turning out, though. I have my Jingle Bell stitch marker on here still. Let me see. So last week I had I was just above this garter ridge, and so I knit quite a bit of lace up here. And there goes my stitch marker on the floor. But I like it. It's coming along. Carbons US 5, 3.75 millimeters, and she has you switch needles, switch to a smaller gauge or a smaller needle size for the lace and bigger for the stockinette. Work in progress number 1. The second one is something that I just cast on. I saw Molly of the Homespun House podcast finish one and is working on her second. And Sarah from the Love Sock Wool podcast also finished one for her daughter. And I wondered how it would look for a boy. This is the collared pixie hat, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It only comes in, the pattern's written in another language. I think it's Dutch, French, I'm not really sure. But if you look in the comments section on the pattern page, a very nice woman translated it to English. So that's what I used. I printed that out, and let's see, I didn't print the picture out. But definitely check out the Ravelry page. It's adorable. It looks like a little elf hat in a way. The top will be pointed. So basically this is the collar. I'm using Knit Picks Felici yarn in the Baker Street colorway. This is the same colorway that I'm using for my husband's socks that I had to rip back. But it's a fingering weight yarn, and this pattern calls for either fingering weight with 2 strands held together or a heavier weight like a sport or worsted. So I'm holding 2 strands together, and I started casting on with a dark and a light because I really wanted the colors to be contrasty, and I like the way it's turning out. It almost looks frosty. You could still see the self-striping, but I really like it. I messed up right here, by the way. I'm sure you can see that. He won't care, though. I made quite a few mistakes, actually, because I started on DPNs, holding 2 strands together, and they were a smaller DPN, and I do have issues with numbness in my fingertips. So I think I'm going to have to... I switched to circulars very early on, after I noticed all my fiddly mistakes. I might have to learn magic loop for socks and things that require DPNs in a small size. So I might have to learn that, but now that I'm on circulars, I really enjoy it. So you can knit the collar as long as you want, and then the chin is open around the face, and then the side like points up. So I'm really excited to get this finished for him. I think he'll look adorable. I wanted really boyish colors, so I think I mastered that. The next one is my Cozy Memories blanket. This will be a work in progress for some time. I cast on, or I knit in 1 square since last time, and that is this one here. This is the one from my windswept shawl that I knit when my mom was in hospice. These 2 were gifted to me, and this is one of my hand-dyed colorways. So I have 4, and look, it folds like a blanket. Yay! Have to weave an end still. I know last time I said I'm going to do it, and I didn't. I was focused on another project for this. A way of logging my yarns for each square that I knit in. So first of all, I ordered a really, really, really adorable bag from Molly of a Homespun House. She made Cozy Memories kits. It's a big tote bag, so the top is open once your blanket gets really big. And then she includes 10 mini skeins in her wonderful, glorious yarn. And then a stitch marker for that center stitch of each square and some tea. So I'm waiting to get that in the mail. Very excited. But then I was watching the Wool Gathering podcast, Natasha and Meredith. Love them. Love the podcast. I just learned about it and watched 1 episode, their most recent, but I need to go back and watch the rest. If you haven't checked them out, you should. They're really, really sweet girls. And Meredith was talking about one of somebody she follows on Instagram. Her name is a Knitbox, AKNITBOX. And she mentioned on her podcast how a Knitbox was logging her Cozy Memories yarn scraps so that she knew she could write down where each yarn came from. So I really, really, really wanted to do that because I know once it gets humongous, I'm not going to remember who gifted what and what yarn came from what project. So I went to the craft store and bought this cute little journal. And I love that the pages aren't lined. But I wrote when I started my blanket in the bottom corner, and then I bought some cute fabric tape, and I'm logging each color in there. Who gave it to me, what project it was from, the colorway, and then on the next page I'll put the yarns on this side and the description over here so that the book's balanced out. And I like this journal because you can untie this and the book will open up further, because I know that once I get a lot of yarns in here, it's going to be thicker. So the top can open up more. I might buy a few of these and stick them in my Etsy shop for anybody who would like to purchase one for their Cozy Memories blanket, because I think it's perfect for that. But yeah, I went and got these really cute little fabric washi tapes. I love this style, this like vintagey, granny, floral. That's totally me. So yeah, that's where I am on that. Now I can add a square from the sock head hat I just finished because I have yarn left over. And that will be super exciting. Let's see, what else have I been up to? Spinning. I learned how to spin with my drop spindle. Okay, so I'm not good at it yet. However, I wanted to try it. I bought this spindle from Aaron Makes Stuff on Etsy. He makes amazing drop spindles. These are colored pencils that he kind of melted down and turned into a drop spindle. I'm using Rolags from Nicole C. Mendez on Etsy. This is what it looks like. Her fiber is beautiful, but I picked a color combination that wasn't my favorite. I love all of her Rolags and the colors that she sent me, but this one's probably my least favorite out of all of them, so I wanted to use this as my first kind of practice round. So what tutorial did I look? Oh, YouTube. I looked up Spin City UK has a really good tutorial on how to begin drop spindling. She's a sweetheart. She sells drop spindles on Etsy as well, Spin City UK on Etsy. And yeah, it's I don't want to say it's not hard because it's going to take practice. It's just like anything else, knitting, sewing. If you can see, what I've been spinning is a mess. It's a mix between lace weight and super bulky. But I'm not going to get discouraged. I will just continue to practice. But I can already tell that it's going to be a very meditative craft to do on my downtime. You can do it in the car. You can do it while you're watching TV. So yes, lots of fun. I'm already thinking about buying a spinning wheel, even though I have no clue how to use it. I feel like that this is gonna really, really make me want one. So I might go ahead and buy one. I even subscribed to a Craftsy class on how to spin with a spinning wheel. So another craft I'm learning. Let's see, what else do I have? Quilting. I've been working on a quilt, a log cabin style quilt. I bought a jelly roll from a Little House on the Prairie fabric, and I showed a bunch of my blocks so far last week, I think. And since I've been up to all of this other stuff, I only got 1.5 blocks quilted since we spoke last. So the first one is this one, which I love, all the red and cream tones. And then this one is partially done, but these are more kind of black and cream tones. So yeah, that's coming along. I also wanted to ask you guys, if you're a member on my Ravelry group or even email me, I want to add yarn that I used for my first 2 knitting projects ever, and they were the 2 hats that I made for my sons while I was in the hospital. I talked a little bit about that on my first episode. And so they're super bulky yarns, and I want to put them into my Cozy Memories blanket. And I know Cozy Memories is more of like a fingering to sport or maybe worsted weight. But have any of you put a bulky yarn into your blankets, and what would you recommend? Would you recommend that I use a super small needle? What size would you say? These are the two yarns. They're very thick. This is a Madeline-tosh, and this is a Cascade 220 Sport, I believe. But very important to me, and I'd love to put them in my blanket. So I just wondered what you thought about that. Sewing, I am going to be putting a new spin on my project bags that I sell in my shop. I'm still kind of designing them in my head, but I think they're going to be really, really nice. So it's going to take some time, but as soon as I have like a prototype finished, I will show you. I have purchased so much fabric, you guys, it's ridiculous. I seriously think I have an addiction to fabric. A bad one. I'm hoarding it. Like, it's to the point where I don't even want to cut it because it's so pretty. I'm at the fabric store almost every other day. The workers know my son and I by name. The baby and I go in often. And I just love looking through the fabrics. But I did buy some really cute Easter prints, and I think I'm going to put together some Easter kits that include an Easter fabric-themed project bag with an Easter colorway yarn and maybe some stitch markers or a DPN holder or something like that. Feel free to let me know what you guys would like in the kits in the Ravelry group. I would love to hear if you would rather have stitch markers or a DPN holder or both. Just let me know. The fabric's way over there, so I can't show you, but hopefully by next week I'm going to have those sewn together, and I'll be able to show you on the next podcast on Monday. But yeah, I will show you what's in the shop right now in just a few minutes as far as project bags and things. So new and noteworthy is my segment on new items that I purchased or things that I've received. So I subscribe to the beanie bag from Jimmy Bean's Wool, where every month they send you a little bag full of yarn samples and notions, and you get new things every month, and it's a mystery what you get. So I think that's fun. I think it was like $10 US per month. It's like an automatic withdrawal subscription, and they send it to you every month. So I did that. And then I was watching the Stitched in Sweden podcast with Maria Manska, and she was highly recommending a book about bread making. And I've wanted to try this for some time now. I really don't like the bread we've been eating. I mean, it tastes okay, but it's what I grew up on, just white Italian bread. But it's not wholesome, and it's not, I mean, there's nothing better than a homemade, baked, yummy, healthy bread. So she was talking about the book called Artisan Bread in 5 minutes a day, I believe. She talks in length about it on her most recent podcast, not the one she just uploaded today, but last week, I believe. And it's towards the end of her episode. But she talks about the book, what she thinks about it, a couple of tools that she found helpful. And yeah, I went ahead and ordered that. I ordered the basket that she recommended. That should be here in the next couple of days. So on the next podcast, I'll review it as well, and kind of let you know what I think about it. And yeah, that's also another great podcast. I placed an order for some Quince & Co. chickadee. My mother-in-law wants me to knit her the brickless shawl pattern. And I pulled up all of the colorways that she can choose from, thinking she loves pink, but I just knit her the dew shawl in one of my pink colorways. And I was like, okay, Mom, pick out, whatever color you want. There were seriously, as you know, maybe 50 colors she can pick from. And she wants black. And I was like, oh, okay. Do you want black with another color? Like, do you want that as an accent color? And she's like, no, I want it all black. So I was like, black is nice because it matches with everything, but I feel like you don't see like the stitch definition as well as, a lighter color. I was like, what about a charcoal gray or, a heathered something? And she's like, no, black will be great. So black it is. I'm waiting for that yarn to come in, and then I'll cast that on for her. It's a really pretty shawl. My cousin was wearing it at our Christmas party, and my mother-in-law subtly, but not so subtly, hinted that she wants one. So I'll knit that for her. Yeah. So I will go on to shop updates. If you're interested in seeing, great. If you're not into it, thank you for checking out my podcast, and I look forward to chatting with you next time. So what do I have? I'll show you the project bags first. We had family dinner yesterday, like we always do at my in-laws, and my father-in-law grew up in a house with, I think I told you, like 14 siblings, 3 boys, 11 sisters, I think. I can't even keep track. But they knit, and his mom knit, and I didn't know that his mom taught him to knit when he was small. So I was there yesterday knitting on my sugar plum cowl, and all of a sudden from the other room he goes, hey Shawna, knit 1 purl 2? And I was like, Dad, where did you get that from? How do you know the knitting lingo? And he started laughing, and he was like, I knew how to knit when I was younger. And he's got a sewing machine, and he sews. That's just how it was, back then. I think it's wonderful. But, so first I'm going to show you some new stitch markers that I'm introducing to the shop, and they're lots of fun. They're different than the ones I've been seeing lately. I wanted something that represents my style a little bit more, that vintage, granny, shabby, floral style that I was talking about earlier. But these are them, so I can make them into stitch markers or progress keepers. Just cute little flowers with beads. And then here's another print. And yet another. And then I got some other beads too, in blue colors. Really pretty. So I'll be adding those to the shop. And then there's a couple of these left in the shop, the cute little teacups with the birds. And there's a teacup zipper pull that you can use as a progress keeper. And then inside just a solid pink. This one's a really pretty springy chevron with the hearts. We have a patchwork teacup bag with the handle. This is the large size. This has a teacup on it as well. And the inside is polka dot, and it has a pocket inside. Right there. This is cute for Valentine's Day. It's the heart print. And there's a heart zipper pull with the handle. And this one has a pocket on the inside as well. All the large bags have pockets and handles. And then this one is in the shop as well. This is a large bag, but it's one of the old prototypes, so there's no pocket and there's no handle, but still very lovely. It's listed for a more inexpensive price on Etsy because it doesn't have those two features, but still really nice. I added this little, sort of like a little handle you can stick on your finger to carry around. And then there's a little house charm. So those are the bags, and then I also have yarn. This is one of my new colorways. This will be in with the Easter kits when I make the bags. It's called Neapolitan, but it's a very springy color. Different shades of pinks, some undyed areas of white, and then different tones of browns and beiges. It just reminded me of Neapolitan ice cream. This is a new colorway called Candy Crush. And both of these are on the Marion base, which is, it's a high twist sewn blend. This one is Speckled Goodness. And there's kind of an undertone of turquoise, like a very, very light background turquoise color. But there's yellows, pinks, greens, turquoises, lots of fun. It reminded me of speckled eggs. And then I also have that on the Cecilia base, which is the 50% silk, 50% non-superwash merino. So with the silk, and with the silk as part of the base, the colors are a little bit less vibrant. The silk takes the dye very differently. But actually this one came out pretty good. So those are in the shop now. I also have some more of the Sweet 16 colorway. This is the sewn blend, the Marion. I just thought it was, the colorway reminded me of, you know, a teenage girl starting to like boys, and the red for love, so there's like pink, red, and blues. I really like that one. And then this is Pixie Dust, which is one of my very favorites. I'm dying to crack into one of these, but I'm not going to do it just yet. But this is the 50% silk, 50% non-superwash merino. And they're all fingering weights. But there's golds, purples, pinks, mauves, browns. Ugh, I love it. So those are all in the shop right now. And I'm looking forward to dyeing some more. My cousin is actually coming over to kind of learn how to dye, learn more techniques to dye yarn. So we're going to have a yarn dyeing party in early February, and that will be a lot of fun. We also are very, very, very close to confirming our reservations to stay at a house in Rhinebeck, New York for the Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool Festival for this year. So we're very close to having it confirmed, and I'm so excited. It's going to be a really nice time. I've never been to anything like that, so I'm very, very excited. But that's all I have to show you this week. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I appreciate my subscribers. I appreciate my Etsy customers. I enjoy podcasting every week, and I hope that you love to kind of kick back and listen. So have a lovely week, and I will see you next week on Monday, hopefully. Bye.